All right, hey everyone, Professor Nagel here. We are working through exercise 4-1, Modify the Invoice Total app from Murach C#. Please remember, if these videos are helping you, to click that subscribe button. That helps me as I help you. All right, so I have 4-1 Invoice Total. So my students, you would have downloaded this from Brightspace. Other students, maybe your professor gave you this, maybe you're using the start files from the publisher themselves, but this is what we're looking for, is this start file. All right, and a zip file, when you open a zip file, it looks like you can just go in and try to open up this solution file. But here's the thing. Remember, the solution file points to the project files, which points to the C# files and all the other stuff, right? So when you're looking at this solution file, if you double click on this, what Windows does is it extracts temporarily this one file, and then your computer knows to open SLN files with Visual Studio, and this SLN file points to some project files which are still stuck in the zip. All right, so never double click a zip file and try to start working on it. It will not work, because when you double click files that are in the zip, it only temporarily extracts that one file. So we need to extract this whole thing, and I want to extract it to the right place. So I'm going to go to my OneDrive. I'm making a new window for that. All right, this is my OneDrive. This is my folder. All right, remember, we're looking for this semester and this class. So for you, this might be a little bit backwards. But anyway, wherever you want to put this zip file, let's go ahead and move it there. Just drag and drop, or you can cut paste. And then take this zip file, right click, extract all, and do yourself a favor, throw your last name on there, because that's also going to do me a favor when I receive, or your own instructor a favor, when I receive, 32 of these to grade, they're all not going to be named the same thing. So throw your last name on there, and here we go. We are not in the zip, and I have in this class file, or this course file. I don't want to use the word class because that's object-oriented stuff. We've got 4.1, so let's go into 4.1, and we can double-click on the SLN file and get started. I know that was a lot of discussion just to get started, but it was important to explain that when you have starter files, you do not double-click a zip file. You always right-click and extract. Okay, so step 1 was to open this. Step 2 is build and run the app. So just hit that start button. And there it is. And enter a valid subtotal, like 225.5. Hit calculate, make sure we're getting the right discount, and that there's 2 decimal places shown on discount amount and total. All right, now enter, because users do things like this. If they're talking about an invoice, they're going to put a $sign in there, and then hit calculate, and we throw an exception that $1,000 is not in the correct format. If you hover over this, you can see that the value of txt subtotal.txt is $1,000. All right, so we can hit stop, and that was step 4. We've already done steps 1 through 4. There's only 8 steps to this assignment. So now we're going to modify btncalculate.click so it uses the parse method of the decimal class instead of to decimal. So instead of convert to decimal, we're going to use decimal.parse. So that's the parse method of the decimal class. All right, that was step 5. Save that, run it. And we're going to make sure, when you're testing, you always make sure that a valid value works first. So that's great. And then put that invalid amount in. And step 5 actually says, test the app to verify it works the same. And it does work the same. All right, this is still invalid. Decimal parse is still going to not be able to handle that with a $sign there. So that was it for step 5. Step 6, we're going to round the values stored in discount amount and invoice total to 2 decimal places. So I'm going to use math.round these things to 2 decimal places. And delete the formatting codes for the statements that convert these to strings. So these are the statements that convert them to strings. So when they're talking about removing the part that converts to string, they just mean this bit right here. Okay, just the bit afterwards. All right, I have to say, I've read step 6 about 100 times, and I even went as far as opened up the instructor solution for this, and these instructions are pretty bad. Because when you remove that to string, these things just fail, because you cannot take a decimal and put it in where a string belongs. All right, so at least we have to do this. All right, this thing to string. All right, so at least it works. And the idea here, let's save and run this, is that when you put in 225, oops, wrong one, it's over here. Put in 225.5 and hit calculate. They just wanted to show you that this is rounded to 2 decimal places. All right, anyway, back to step 6. Note the dollar signs were no longer included, right? We did note that. Dollar sign is not included here. So step 7 is add the code back, so they're displayed once again. All right, so discount percent, we want as a percent. And I forget if there's a fraction of a percentage. We'll look at that in a little bit. And then the discount amount is currency. Yeah, we want that percent to have 1 decimal point after it. So 225.5, discount percent 25.0, amount back to a dollar sign, here. All right, but 1,000, this still fails because decimal.parse 1,000 is not in the correct format. All right, so believe it or not, that was 4-1. So reminder, this is where we are working. Remember, we double-click this SLN file. So we're going to go up until we find 4-1 invoice total, your last name. Going to right-click on that, send to zip folder, and that's the one you're going to submit, the one with your name on it. The one without your name on it, notice the date or the time, it was 20 minutes ago or whatever. This is the starting file, so this one's useless to us. Delete that. The one with your name, that's the one that you're going to submit. And you did it. Ta-da! Remember to subscribe if this was helpful.